Hello! I come to you today with my June wrap-up. I read a total of 3 books in June. Firstly, The Sudden Appearance of Hope by Claire North. Now, I have really enjoyed Claire North's writing since I read the first 15 Lives of Harry August. However, this one fell a tiny bit flat. I was in between 3 and 4 stars. Basically, the premise is there is a girl, Hope, who is very forgettable, not just because she is bland or boring, but because if you look away from her for 20 seconds, you forget that she ever existed. Now, as with Claire's other work, these sort of physical and time-bending phenomena that occur with her characters aren't explained. You just have to get on board and go with it. So, if you look away from Hope, you forget her. Now, this raises a lot of philosophical questions. How do you judge yourself as a person? Because knowingly or unknowingly, a lot of us do judge ourselves by external parameters. So what do your family think of you? What do your friends think of you? What sort of job do you have? And if you are instantly forgettable, then you can't really use these to build a picture of yourself. And yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, how do you view you if the only person that you are aware of is you, and also if none of your actions have consequences? So you can steal something, and if you run out of the shop, everyone will forget that you stole the thing, so you can get away with it. So it's kind of crimes without consequences, life without consequences. How do you then decide the moral code that you're going to live by? In parallel to this, there is an app called Perfection, and it dictates to people how they should live, how they should dress, what holidays they should go on, what hairdressers they should go to, and basically you kind of sign up for this app, and every thing that you do, you get points for. If you get so many points, you get rewards, and one of these rewards is treatments, and we kind of learn what treatments are and what they do to people as the book goes through, so I won't spoil that for you. But Hope kind of becomes obsessed with this app and these treatments, and it does tie back in with this whole philosophy of who are you, how do you view yourself, what is right and wrong. And again, as always with North, really, really interesting big principles. It's just, I feel as though there is a lot of similarity in the 3 novels that she's written that I've read, in that there is a protagonist with some sort of quirky, physics-defying characteristic, and then they have a arch nemesis / best friend that follows them throughout the book, and then there are a lot of debates throughout about whatever the particular characteristic the protagonist has, how that affects their persona and philosophy. So I just felt that in her previous books she's kind of melded the plot and philosophy together much better. In Sudden Appearance of Hope, I felt like it was very plot. Now we'll sit back and we'll talk about philosophy for a bit, and then plot, and now we'll sit back and talk about philosophy for a bit. And it just was very clunky in my opinion, and it kind of dragged the pace of it back, because about halfway through the plot sort of really kicks off in a particular way, and then it just reined itself back in because there was a little bit of philosophy talk for a little while and discussion, and I just feel like it could have been sort of woven in a little bit better than it was. But overall, a good read. Second book I read was Not a Star by Nick Hornby. This is a short novella. I actually picked it up at a second-hand bookstore, so I didn't really know what to expect from it. Turns out it's part of the Open Door series, which is written by popular novelists for adults with like low literacy skills. So they're really short, simple reads. However, the subject matter is still like what I would call on par. So for example, the one that I read is about Lynn, who finds out that her son is in a porn film, is like a porn star. She has to sort of come to terms with, what does that mean? Does it have to mean anything? Does she have to tell the rest of her family? Does she have to talk to her son about it? Does she have to come to terms with the fact that her son has a huge dick. Does it matter that her son has a huge dick? Oh my god, how do you talk to your son about the fact that he has a huge dick without saying, oh my god, you've got a huge dick? So yeah, it was really good, and as always with Hornby, he sort of approaches it with a lot of humour and a lot of emotion. It's only sort of like 65 pages, so it's a really quick read. It doesn't go into any depth, but I think it raises a lot of questions that you could then sort of springboard off if you wanted to. But yeah, a really amusing read. I'll definitely be looking out for more of these. I know that Maeve Binchy's written one, Cecilia Ahern, John Connolly, so again, names that everyone sort of knows, and I'm just quite interested to see how they put a teeny tiny book together and if they can keep it interesting. The final book that I read this month is How to Start a Revolution by Lucy Ann Jones. As you may or may not know, depending on where you live and how politically involved you are, the UK has been going through political turmoil, shall we call it? We'll call it that. There was a referendum to see whether we wanted to leave the EU or not, and the UK voted yes, we do want to leave the EU, which shocked a lot of people. Basically meant the breakdown of the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, and we have no leaders, and it's very scary, I suppose. But it also made me go out and buy some political books, and I was kind of partly inspired by Jean at Bookish Thoughts video, which I'll whiz link across the top, so go click that, check it out. So Lucy Ann Jones is an author, but she's also the lady behind the huge petition to stop page 3 topless ladies in the Sun newspaper, which they did actually stop doing eventually. This is a teeny tiny, very concise book about how to start, well, not quite a revolution, but if you want sort of some sort of movement, it's basically a walkthrough of how Lucy Ann did her No More Page 3 campaign, and if you are wanting to do anything similar, or basically, you know, obviously if you have anything that you would like to change and go out and do it, then it's kind of a step-by-step guide. There's a really good bullet point list at the end of each chapter, sort of summarising what she did and what you can do. There's nothing groundbreaking, it's very common sense, but I think that there's so many avenues that you can go through now, especially with like the plethora of social media and the internet, that how do you get your message across? How do you decide what is important, what isn't, what will work and what won't? And I think this is just sort of one example of a campaign that was successful, and you can sort of tick box how you do things according to this. So that was me in June. Not a lot, but there was a lot going on in life, like job and new house that we still haven't really sorted out, and UK political downfall and whatnot, and obviously Wimbledon's just started now, so who knows, July might not be so productive either. If you've read anything exciting, let me know, or if you've read anything that I've read this month and you have an opinion, do let me know, and until next time, ta-ta!